Some of the best characters in the world are self-inserts, and that's one of the reasons why Naruto is so popular. And to understand Naruto, we have to talk about its series author, Masashi Kishimoto. Kishimoto was born on November 8, 1974, in Okayama Prefecture. He also has a twin brother named Seishi Kishimoto, who also became a manga author. But this video isn't about him. Together, they enjoyed watching anime and drawing together. According to Seishi, they started drawing their own superheroes after getting into the Dragon Ball and Kinnikuman anime. At school, however, Kishimoto sucked at studying, and he wasn't really good at sports either, but that doesn't mean he didn't try. When he was in high school, Kishimoto actually wanted to get really good at sports, like baseball and basketball. He got so into these sports that he stopped reading manga. He wanted to be a regular in a team, and being able to play with his team to achieve victory became a dream of his. But at one of the games he showed up for, after huddling with his team and doing a rallying cry together, his coach benched him for another player. It's like everyone else forgot him. It's here where he developed an inferiority complex, watching his teammates struggle together without him. Not being good at studying or at sports, Kishimoto must have felt defeated. But it's when you're at your lowest that you rediscover the things that you used to enjoy. Kishimoto discovered a manga named Akira by stumbling upon the iconic anime poster, written and illustrated by Katsuhiro Otomo. Unlike Jump manga, it had a more mature theme. It uses conventions of the cyberpunk genre and explored topics like political turmoil, corruption, and power. And above all that, Kishimoto loved the cinematic visuals. He wanted to emulate Otomo's style. And from here, Kishimoto fell in love with drawing again. He went to college and majored in arts in hopes of becoming a manga author. And in his second year of college, he began submitting work to magazine contests. While he didn't win first place, he did receive an honorable mention in Shueisha's Hop Step Award. And having this recognition would make him a promising young candidate in Shonen Jump's eyes. The story he submitted is called Karakuri, which literally means mechanism. If you take a look at the artwork, you can see how much of the character designs are inspired by Otomo's Akira. It also had a post-apocalyptic setting, like Akira. The overall tone of the story made Karakuri a seinen manga made for the older demographic, something Kishimoto was aware of with his art style. Shueisha definitely saw something in Kishimoto, and they assigned him an editor, Kosuke Yahagi. Yahagi would help Kishimoto take his next steps in his career as a mangaka. To get serialized, Kishimoto first experimented with a short story titled Michikusa, which can translate to loitering on the way. But according to Jump editors, Michikusa was too personal. Jump wanted the cool action scenes he put in Karakuri, so Kishimoto went back to looking at Karakuri to study what made his story so good. He reviewed what he created and developed a story called Naruto, not the one I'm eventually going to get to, but a prototype version that he submitted as a one-shot to Akumaru Jump's Summer 1997, the seasonal magazine edition of Jump. This one-shot was well received in the reader surveys. The only thing is, since it was a prototype, it was hard to develop into a serialized story. In this one-shot version of Naruto, Naruto was the nine-tailed fox demon, and not an average kid with a fox demon sealed in him. And so, Kishimoto decided to take what he learned so far in his manga career and redeveloped Karakuri with the intention of making it into a serialized story, taking elements from its original version as well as elements from the one-shot Naruto. And not only that, but this revamped version of Karakuri would run in Weekly Shonen Jump without it having to be a submitted story to a one-shot contest. And it failed, after only a few issues. Yeah, it was definitely more lighthearted compared to the one-shot version, but it was lacking something, which is understandable, considering Kishimoto only had a day to draw the manuscript and 2 weeks to draw everything out. By this point, Kishimoto had already been trying his hand at serialization for 3 years, and the moment he finally gets a chance, he failed. He wasn't going to give up, of course, but he had to face the reality that sometimes it's just not meant to be. Maybe he wasn't meant for Shonen Jump. Before starting at Jump, he wrote Karakuri on his own. He had a knack for writing seinen manga, but Shonen Jump is aimed for the younger demographic, not the older demographic. So, Kishimoto wanted to try his hand at seinen magazines. He experimented with some seinen stories like baseball manga, but unfortunately, none of them got Jump's approval. Kishimoto was feeling disheartened. But despite all these failures, and despite all these rejections, his editor Yahagi saw something. Kishimoto was improving with every submission he made. After not hearing from Kishimoto for a long time, Yahagi called him up and asked him, why not try making a shonen manga one more time? He had already tried revamping Karakuri, now he was going to recreate his other series that worked, Naruto. He and Yahagi carefully drafted out the first 3 chapters using everything they learned in the last few years. And unlike with the serialized Karakuri, they had a 6-month lead time with Naruto, which allowed the duo more time to revise as needed. And in September 1999, Naruto debuted, and it was a hit. Kishimoto spent the first 2 chapters telling us about Naruto before he introduced the other core characters, and that feeling of rejection he endured straightforward in life, he wrote that into Naruto, allowing us to easily sympathize with the character and giving us the emotional connection to project ourselves into him as well. His strength is our strength, his weaknesses are our weaknesses. You may think to yourself, Naruto is just a typical battle manga, and that may be true, because it has the same tropes as other battle manga. But Kishimoto did something with the character that was very anti-battle manga. Instead of ending arcs with the main character doing some amazing blast attack or dramatic punch to end the fight, Naruto simply talked. I know people make fun of that, they call it talk no jutsu, but I always thought it was beautiful. And when the anime came out, the Naruto series exploded worldwide, even before it got an official release in most places in the world. It became so popular outside of Japan. Studio Pierrot, the animation studio behind the Naruto anime, learned about anime piracy. Anyway, Kishimoto knew how big the anime was, so he changed the way he drew the characters in the manga to make his characters look more like their anime counterparts. This way, people who start reading the manga after watching the anime can feel more welcome, even though his contacts at Studio Pierrot told him it was supposed to be the other way around. And lastly, Kishimoto has a statue of Frieza in his office.
リーザ様は、
はい
なんでここにいらっしゃるんですか？
もらったんですけど、それ